Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing my final book haul of 2021. So I usually do them every quarter, so this is my October, November and December haul. And it's going to be a bit all over the place because I'm pre-filming this, so I haven't gotten my Christmas presents yet, so I will include clips of those because I already know what they are. Also, I left some of them up at my granny's house, so I will just have to include a picture of the cover. And you'll just have to trust me that I hauled it. This is going to be messy. The first book that I hauled this quarter was The Bone Witch by Rinch Pekko, and I love this cover so much. And I'm also getting the second and third one for Christmas. So I read another of Rinch Pekko's series a couple months ago. I read The Never Tilting World and The Ever Cruel Kingdom, and I really enjoyed them. I had a really good time with them. They weren't anything like, you know, out of this world amazing, but the mood that I was in, they were like perfect for. They were, yes, they had some tropes, but they were fun, and I really loved it. And I believe this series follows a necromancer or bone witch called T/Tia, and I believe she accidentally resurrects her brother, and that obviously causes problems. And I think she is then sent away to get trained how to use this power properly. And as I said, so I have already hauled this one, and I'm getting the second and third one for Christmas. Then the next book that I hauled, I actually got the same day as I got the Bone Witch, and that was The Memory of Souls by Lyons, and this is one of the ones that I actually left up in my granny's house. Hello. So I had to drop presents up at my granny's house so I can show you the books. This is Memory of Souls. Tis chunky. So for this one, I hauled The Rune of Kings in my last book haul, and I was reading it in October, and I was loving it, and I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars. And so I was only, I don't know how much into it I was, but I knew I wanted to continue basically straight away. And so I went into the bookstore, and they didn't have the second book, but they had the third book. So I bought the third book. And so the third book has just been sitting there, and I'm getting the second book for Christmas. Yeah, so this series is very complicated. It is wonderful though. I love the characters. I love the world. I love how complicated the family dynamics are. It is perfect. It follows Kieran, and it has 2 different timelines. So one where he believes his story begins, and one where Talon, who is kind of a demon, thinks that his story began. And so in one of the timelines, we see Kieran as he accidentally stumbles across someone trying to summon a demon, and then this gets him dragged into a whole political plot where he is claimed as the lost son of one of these heirs to one of these royal families. And then in another timeline, it is him after he has been sold into slavery, and it follows him from there, and eventually the timelines meet up, and it was so good. And I believe the second book actually follows a different character who we kind of met in the first book, but not too much. Even though it's not Kieran, I'm still really excited about it. And the third book, I do believe, goes back to Kieran. So, and I also hauled the Shades of Magic by V. Schwab. Not these ones, I have owned those for a while, but I hauled the second and third book in the Illumicrate editions. Again, they are up on my granny's house. Gathering of Shadows Illumicrate edition. Can't really see this red edge. There we go. Nice. It's also signed. It also has really nice end papers. And signed. And then Conjuring of Light. So darker edges. And papers. Signed. I do not own the first one, and it is very expensive to try and get the first one. So if anyone wants to sell theirs to me for a reasonable price, they are absolutely stunning. I love them so much. And yeah, and I probably shouldn't have spent my money on those because I don't have the first one, but I did anyway, didn't I? So whoops. Shades of Magic follows Kel, who is an Antari, and that means he can travel through the different Londons because there are parallel Londons. He also has a little bit of a side business of smuggling contraband through the different Londons, which is very illegal. And one day he smuggles the wrong thing and starts a whole plot. So then more Schwab, and also more Illumicrate, I also hauled the Extraordinary comic by V. Schwab. So the Illumicrate edition, there's a million different editions of it, and they are all beautiful. I really liked the art style in here. It is also, so he's got some nice end papers. it is also signed. Yeah, so that's just like a glimpse of it. I really enjoyed this. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I read it the day I got it because why not? And on the back it says, can a person change their fate? And that's basically what the story is about. So we follow Charlotte, yes, and she has a near-death experience, and that turns her into an EO. If you've read the Villains books, you will know. And her power is that when she looks at someone's reflection, she can see their death. And when she looks at her own reflection, she can see a man who presumably is going to kill her. And so she goes to try and change her fate. And I really enjoyed this. I've read the Shades of Magic comics and I enjoyed them. I liked seeing more of Maxim's character, but I didn't love them, and I much preferred this. I thought it was much better pacing, and I think the fight scenes were kind of done very well. Like, some of the fight scenes in that were like a little hard to follow, but also I could have just been getting more used to the comic graphic novel thing by the time I got to this. And yeah, and I asked V.E. Schwab in her Instagram comment, was there going to be more? Because it says number 1 on the side. And she said no. But they are going to appear in the 3rd Villains book. So give it to me now, please. And then we'll stick with the Schwab for one more minute. And I hauled The Night of Knives, which is volume 2 of the Shades of Magic comics. So as I said, I have actually read all of these, but I've been like buying them slowly because they are expensive. I bought the first one in a secondhand bookshop, and I bought this one because Waterstones were doing double stamps one day, and I was like, you know what, I'm really close to having 10 stamps, so I was like, if I buy this, because it's like €17, that will probably bring me up to the amount. And I also bought another book, and so that actually did bring me up to the 10 stamps. So basically then the next time I go into Waterstones, I have like €13 to spend without spending it, which is great. This is a prequel series to the Shades of Magic, and I have enjoyed them. I think I gave the first one 3 and then the second and third one 4 each. And so this one follows the Night of Knives, which is like a competition where you have to like go through all of these challenges, and we are following Maxim as he tries to do that. It's kind of like the art style in here. I think I prefer the art style in Extraordinary, but I still do really enjoy this. Now we are done with the Schwab. Are we? Yeah, we're done with the Schwab. And so the same day that I bought Night of Knives, I also bought another book. And again, this is one that I don't have with me, but it was 100% because of Jade reads. I finally gave in. I finally bought it. That is Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell. Traitor's Blade, not so chunky and also very floppy. As I said, I was in Waterstones. I was almost up to my 10 stamps, and I was like, you know what? I'll buy it. I don't know why I left it in my granny's, because like that's one that I want to get to. So like I'm not going to be back up there until January, so I can't read it until then at least. As I said, this one is 100% because of Jade reads, and I am really excited to get to it. We have very similar tastes. I mean, Robin Hobb, V.E. Schwab, the Course of Dragon series, also the Witchlands until the last book, then we disagree. In general, we have fairly similar tastes, and this is her favorite series of all time. So I have to read it. I have been putting it off. I have been watching Jade for like at least 2 years, if not more. Actually, it might be more. See, the pandemic has really messed with what time is, so it might be 3 years. So I have heard her talk about this series a lot, and I have still not picked it up. But the time has come. I think it follows 3 men, and they were the Great Coat. And so they basically worked for the king, and then I think was the king maybe overthrown or something, and he gave each of them one last task to accomplish. And so I think it's like kind of a couple of years later, and they all like come back together to try and do their final task. I could be wrong though. I'm excited to get to this, and it's definitely going to be read in 2022. So then I have 2 more books physically to show you, and then I'll talk about Christmas. These are 2 that I actually bought on the same day, and so that was actually only like last week. And so that is Malice by John Gwynne, and then another Sebastian de Castell. I bought Slinger. I think I picked up Slinger first, so I'll talk about this first. And also I just spoke about another Sebastian de Castell, so I never actually really paid attention to the back when I bought it, but like really pretty. And yeah, and I do also like the covers. I believe this follows a boy, teen, young man called Kellen, and he's about to undergo like some sort of like mage's trials. The only problem is he no longer has his magic. And so then I think Furious Perfax comes into the situation and is like, hey, I will teach you how to like trick them all into thinking you still have magic. This is a YA, whereas Trader's Blade is adult, and so I know that everyone says like obviously the other one is very much darker, but I believe like his writing style is actually fairly similar between the both of them, and just very humorous and action packed, and that interests me. I am a little nervous about like YA versus adult. What if I like really don't like this, but I really love his other series? I don't know. But I'm gonna give this a go. And so then, as I said, I also hauled Malice by John Gwynne, and thick. Oh, and it has small writing. It's like 600 pages and has pretty small writing. So that's fun. And so this is The Faithful and Fallen book 1. I think there's 4 books in it. I feel like there's 4. I know there's Malice, Wrath, Rune, and there's something else. There's another one. So Malice, Valor, Rune, Wrath. So I forgot what the second one was. So yeah, I have heard really good things about this series. I have spoken about this before. I'm a little scared of picking up books written by men, but I have heard really good things about this from multiple people, so I'm gonna give it a go. I think I might just read the blurb. The Banished Lands have a violent past where armies of men and giants clashed in battle. An uneasy peace reigns, but now giants stir once more. The very stones weep blood, and there are sightings of gigantic worms. Those who can still read the signs see the prophecy realized. Sorrow will darken the world as angels and demons make it their battlefield. And there's more, but I think I'll just leave it like that. So it seems that our main character wants to be a warrior. I'm gonna guess he discovers the cost of actually participating in wars and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm intrigued. But those are all of the books that I have. And as I said, I will just quickly mention the books that I am getting for Christmas. So I'm getting 8 books for Christmas. And I'll also probably get some book vouchers because I always do. I know that my sister's boyfriend is getting me one. As I mentioned, I'm getting the second and third book in the Bone Witch series. I'm getting the 3rd book in the Imperium trilogy. I have read Furyborn. I give it 4 out of 5 stars. I have not actually read the 2nd book yet, but I will, and then I'll read the 3rd book. I'm also getting the 3rd book in the Poppy War series. I have the Poppy War and the Dragon Republic in these paperbacks. So the paperback came out a couple months ago. So I'm getting that so I can finally finish that series. And number 5 is going to be Elantris. I'm just holding up Warbreaker because I'm getting it in one of these editions. So then 6 is The Name of All Things by Jen Lyons. I spoke about that earlier as well. And then 7 and 8 are going to be Jade War and Jade City by Fonda Lee. And I'm really excited to get to this series because I've heard incredible things about it. This was a bit of a busy haul because I don't own half of the books that I'm talking about. But I do hope you enjoyed anyway. And tell me, have you read any of these? Are they good? Share your opinions down below. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!